In a difficult period of my life, when, due to different reasons, I lost 3 of my dearest and closest people, I found comfort and help in the principles of some models I was using in my profession, that is software quality management. Looking to my life and these models from a new angle gave me enthusiasm and fun, and eventually helped me in accepting the new situation and coping with it. Therefore, I would like to tell you these findings, my experience, with the hope that they will help make your life more happy. The mysterious models I'm talking about are the capability maturity models, or the CMMs. Let's see what they are about. Back in the 1980s, software became more and more complex, and big companies were outsourcing their software development, looking for some warranty that they will get good software in time. The measure of the reliability of software developers was defined to be the term maturity. Maturity was found to correlate to the processes executed by software developers, and the software company was found more mature the more software processes it had executed. The number and characteristics of these software processes was not clear in the beginning. Now, after more than 40 years of experience, we know a lot about these models, but I promise not to tell you about this right now. In the idea of the capability maturity models, a software company can be on one of 5 maturity levels, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. On maturity level 1, the software developers work at their best of their knowledge. Success depends on heroic people, but it cannot be repeated by others, since the whole software development is like a black box. On maturity level 2, also called the repeatable or managed level, the involved people can repeat their own processes. A framework for projects and for requirements management is put in place. However, the details about how to define requirement, how to do design, how to do coding and testing are still black boxes. If the people leave the organization, they take the knowledge with them because nothing is documented. On maturity level 3, the defined level, the technical processes are defined. Personal knowledge is transformed into organizational knowledge, usually in the format of software development life cycles. On maturity level 4, the statistically managed level, there is enough data so that the organization can do statistical analysis and understand perfectly their processes' outcomes. On maturity level 5, the optimizing level, the organization, with the understanding it has, can set feasible improvement targets to continuously improve their performance. Now, that's about the technical part. However, I would like to tell you about how I found these elements to be connected to my life. In the period of time I mentioned in the beginning of my talk, I felt that everything was chaotic. I had difficulties in doing everyday tasks. Luckily, I sought professional help, and I was given a good advice. I should focus on a fair management of my everyday tasks, set goals, prioritize them, accept my actual level of performance, and keep doing the routine things, like get up on time, be there on time, do the shopping for the next cooking, take the dog for a walk, and so on, without thinking too much about the details that were bothering me. When I listened to this advice, it occurred to me that it was outlining my own management framework. And yes, I had to go somehow to maturity level 2 from the chaotic level I was by that time. It was at this moment that I started to connect the elements of the capability models to my own life. I tried to find similarities, and in short time I had the good feeling that I'm starting to get back the control of my life. Did it ever happen to you that you were stuck in a problem on an initial chaotic level? Maybe if you start acting more consciously, then you can regain the control over your life. For me, this was a different control, in fact, of a different life. The next step for me was to identify the important stakeholders and important processes in my life. The capability maturity model calls this the governance process. It is indeed very liberating to hold on with the most inspiring characters in your life and let the others go. And guess what? You will discover that you yourself are a very important stakeholder in your life. It happened to me. Models tell us to set goals, short-term and long-term goals, and prioritize them. For me, this meant that I had to set my priorities, and I realized that priorities are completely up to us. You can think of your own priorities. It can be anything. It can be a good health condition, an interesting job. It can be to be close to your family. It can be to have time. It can be to have money. So it can be anything. For me, this was helpful as I understood what were my most important values at that moment. What about the long-term goals, the strategic goals? Must they stay the same during our own life? What are they? Are they some perfectly constructed philosophical systems or the 10 Commandments? It's not clear. What I understood is that I must be much more flexible in setting my strategic goals than I was before. Measurement is a process in these models that tells us to collect metrics to understand what is happening. For me, this was helpful in switching partly my understanding from the emotional analysis to the fact-based ones. Always and never are not fact-based analysis of a situation, but if you really think of what's happened, you will find that they are not true. So collect objective metrics. This is what the capability maturity models tell us. It is important to understand the causes of happenings, but I warn you that sometimes understanding the causes can give us very hard times. The causal analysis process from these models tell us to concentrate on the most important happenings, analyze their causes, and I discovered that many of the problems I was thinking and overthinking were not so important. In some cases, I found out that the cause was my behavior, but I understood that I cannot change anything anymore. but I can reuse this experience in my coming activities. It was a comforting idea as well. Organizational knowledge is important. According to the models, I spent a lot of time when I was young to do things in my own way. Now I think that there is a fair amount of global human knowledge that can be reused without losing one's originality. The last thing I would like to mention are the importance of retrospectives connected to project management. I realized that I narrowed down my retrospectives to the bad things that happened to me, forgetting about the new ones. Did it happen to you anytime? I found in the capability maturity models literature that it is a common mistake. So what we can do is to give ourselves time, for instance, in every evening, to think back specifically to the good things that happened those days and to our achievements which we achieved on that day. Well, on which maturity level am I actually? Will I ever reach maturity level 5? I am not sure. I am not sure I want to reach it. However, thinking of capability maturity models helped me to look to my life like a long-lasting process improvement project, and this helped me to live with less stress and more happiness. If you think about these aspects, maybe they will have a positive impact on your life too. Capability maturity models can change the perception of your own life, and why not start using them as soon as today? Thank you.